So hello guys, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a mini form. So this is a form which I've picked from Behance website, and we'll be trying to replicate this form right in our project. So let's get started. First of all, I've created a basic window and set the title, width, height, and let's set the background. So. First of all, the background will be a gradient. As you can see, this part is light, this part is more deeper pink. So let's choose a color. I'll choose this one. First of all, we'll set the gradient. I hope you remember this one. If you don't, I've already taught about this in the video about rectangles. You can go watch that again. So first of all, I'll say gradient stop. The position will be from 0 to zero point 0.5, so 50%, and the color will be this one. And the second gradient will be a bit darker, so position till 1, so from 0.5 to 1, and the color, if you are getting confused, this is from 0 to zero point 0.5, this is from 0.5 to 1. So the color, let's choose this one, and let's run the application once and see how it works. As you can see, the color is from top to bottom. We don't want that. We want the color from left to right. So there is a property in gradient called orientation, and we'll set it to gradient dot horizontal. Now let's see. As you can see, the color is from left to right now, and the left part is light and the right part is pinkish. Now let's create the main form window. This is the, if I zoom out a bit, this is the entire form, and let's create the rectangle which will be whitish in color, right? And this left side will be an image, the right side will be a form. So let's create that rectangle. So I'll say rectangle width, let's say 800, height, let's say 600, and color will be white, and let's give it a radius of 10 so that the borders will be more properly visible. Let's 15 or 14, let's give it a 12, like, and it will be in the center of the application. So I'll say anchors dot center in parent. Let's run the application once. It will be anchors. Yeah, my bad. It will be anchors. Spelling mistake. And let's see. Yes, it worked properly, right? Now let's add the image. The left part of the form, it will be an image. So I've already added the image in this location. This is my application location, right? Here, let me delete these two files. Right. Here I've already added the image in a folder called images, and inside that img. So I'll add that in my Qt project. I hope you remember how to do that. They just you have to do what you have to do is you have to right click on here, and you have to create add a new Qt resource file, right? And after the resource file, you have to right click here, add existing files, and then you have to select the image. I've already done that. So my image, uh, why is it here? Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, let me scan the project again. And as you can see, the image is already added here, and we'll be adding this in the left part. So I'll copy the URL for the QML file, and here I'll let's see, the frame is set. The left part will be image, the right part will be form. So basically, we have to create a row, right? We created a row. The left part will be an image, and the right part will be a form, right? So first I'll say row anchors.fill parent. There should be no spacing between the image and the form, so I did not set any spacing. For the image, I will set the source to this one, right? And let's see. Yeah, as you can see, the image properly filled. If there was any problem with the width or height, we can just say we can just set the height to parents height, right? And we could also have done that with the width, but the image is fitting properly in the form, right? So yeah, the image is fitting properly, and the width and height are also perfectly aligned, right? So now let's work with the form, actual form, right? Now let's see how the form looks. So first there is a label. Forget this. This is a combo box. We will work with this later. For now, just ignore this one, or you can just add an image and a text and an icon. So basically two images and a text. But let's ignore this one now. This is a label. This is a label. This is a text field. This is a label. This is a text field. This is again another label. This is a text field. This is a button, and this is also a button without any background. These are three images. This is a checkbox, and this is a label. So all of the things which you have already learned so far, right? So these are all vertically aligned. So we'll basically be using a column, right? So let's do that. This is the right part. So the right part will be a column, and we'll say the height is parent's height. So the column fully fills the parent, right? And we'll give it a spacing of let's say 10. So each element is properly spaced from each other. 15, let's say. And the first element will be a label, right? The text will be get started, and I'll say font dot bold to be true, and font dot point size to be let's say 15, so that the text is a bit bold and the text is a bit large. Now let's see. Sorry about the background noise. Yeah, but as you can see, the text is sticking in the exact top. So for that, to fix that, we have to give some padding, and we have to give some top padding, some left padding, right padding, and bottom padding, right? So let's do that. In the column, we'll be providing some padding. So the default padding will be 15. The top padding, the autofill is not working correctly right now. Yeah, it will be 25, and the bottom padding will be 25. I hope you remember what padding is, right? The difference between padding and margin. I hope you remember that. Now let's run the application once. So as you can see, the text is still small, but yeah, it's doable. Like we don't need to exactly customize it. You can like work around with the font size and all this stuff, right? We just have to create a basic layout. So I've completed with the label. Now I need to stop here, pause here, and tell you something. Do you see the repetition? If you see, this could be an entire component. This could also be the same component. Like if you see, this is a label, this is a text field, this is again a label, another text field, again another label, another text field. So as you can see, like they are like there is duplication, right? We could combine these two as a single element and repeat it three times. So we should do that, and I'll be doing that. So for that, I'll say uh, after this label, I'll add something called a custom field. I'll create a QML file called custom field, and there I'll do that work, right? So I'll click on this project, right click here, add new QML file, call it custom field, next, finish. And I'll rescan my project because for some reason my project is not like adding these items properly. Yeah, it's added now, right? So custom field is added, the warning is gone. Now let's work with it. So basically this is a column where the first element is a label, the other is a text field. So we'll do that, but I'll show you there could be some error here. So there is a column spacing, let's give it 20. The first is a label, but for label you have to import Qt quick controls, And let's import the, come on, for import the basic one, so we can modify, add background and all this stuff to the text field, right? So this one, the text will change, right? For the first one, it will be name. For the second one, it will be email. For the third, it will be password, right? Similarly for this inside thing. So what I can do is I can add a property here, property, string, label name, right? And I'll pass it from the main QML file. I'll pass it from here. Label name will be name. Similarly, for the next custom field, the label name will be email, then password, email, then password. Uh, Property string label name, expected token colon. Okay, the text will be nothing but the label name, right? And there is a warning because we are accessing the parent element. We could give it an ID of, let's say, root, and we'll say root dot label name to be more specific, right? Now it's more specific. You could also have done parent dot label name, but by any chance in the future, if you move this somewhere else, it won't be able to find this parent label name property. So I'll say root dot label name. So I'm referring to this object, right? After the label, we'll add a text field, field text field. And for now, let's go very simple and let's give it a width of, let's say, parent dot width. So it will fully cover the width of the parent. But as you can see, the parent also does not have any width. This does not have any width, right? So we have to assign here the custom field. We'll say width is nothing but parent width. So it will fully cover the width available to it, right? Same for this, and same for this. Yeah. Now, as you can see, this column also does not have any width, so we have to fix that. I hope you're not getting confused. I'll explain what I'm doing. You have to specify width, otherwise it will be unable to find the width of the parent, right? So here, the column, it should have some width, but how much width should it have? This form should have some width, but how much width it should have, right? The total width minus the image width, right? That's why I'll give it an ID of, let's say, form container minus, come on, yeah, this is an ID of form container, and this will be the ID of form image. So what I can do now is I can say the width of the column will be nothing but total containers width minus the form image width. Now let's run the application once and see if it works correctly. Yeah, as you can see, there was a problem with the width part, right? Because we actually gave it the width, but if you remember, there is something called padding. We also gave it some padding, so it is actually shifted there. So instead of that, we can set the columns width minus 2 times padding, because there is left padding, there is right padding. I hope you get it. Now let's run the application once and see if it works correctly. Yes, now it worked correctly, right? We'll obviously customize these elements, so don't get confused, right? We'll also fix the spacing and all this stuff. But basically, what did I do? See, if you did not provide any width, it would take the width of the widest child. I'll draw it. I'll show you. So basically, this is a column, right? Let's say this is one child, this is another child, this is the third child. Since this is very large, the column's width will be the width of the largest child. But we don't want that. We want this child to be the width of the column. So it has to have a certain width. Okay, what am I saying? Let's say you have 3 boxes. You want to put all the 3 boxes inside a parent box. If you don't provide any width of this, how will it fit, right? You have to you have to specify a width. Let's say you have another box of this large. Obviously, this will not fit here. So that's why you need to provide a specific width. Uh, what am I saying is, let's say this is the entire page. This is the image, right? This is the form. If you don't give it any width, let's say all the elements are fitting here, so it will only occupy this much width, right? So we need to provide width of the column. Otherwise, what would have happened is the text input field, it would not be so wide. It would be something like this, right? So to fix that, we need to we provided width. I hope you like got my point. If you just see my code one more time, you'll see what I have done properly, right? So anyway, let's customize it a bit more. If you have any doubt, you can obviously tell me in the comments. I'll specify clear all your doubts. First of all, we need to we need to increase the font size 15 and bold true. And this is exactly not like very beautiful. Like let's see how they have done it. Okay, so they have added some border, right? And the color is also pink, and there is padding in the text. So we can do that. Let's do that. Let's set the background. Uh, we'll say rectangle and anchors.fill paint it. And let's say border.color is that pink color, right? Let's copy this one. And normal color is white, right? And let's give it some padding. So let's say the padding is 15. Now let's see. It worked. Let's also give it some radius of let's say 5. And come on, yeah. As you can see, the radius is added. If I if I increase the radius, like let's give it a radius of 10, and let's give the border width of 2, so the border is like more prominent. Now let's run the application once and see. Yeah, and I think it's perfect. Like there is too much spacing, and the font size is also too large. So instead of 20, I'll give it a spacing of let's say 5. And now let's see. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Right, the text. Uh, Forget about the text. You can also increase the text size. You can just say font dot point size something like of let's say 10, and that would be perfect, right? And I think they have added a placeholder, so we'll also work with that, right? There's by default some text is added here, so we'll work with that. So there is a property called placeholder. So if you do not add any text, it will by default show that text. Yeah, placeholder text. The text will be nothing but the label name, right? As you can see, name, email, password, right? So for that, we'll copy the label name. Yeah, again the same error. So we'll say root dot label name, and yeah, as you can see, the placeholder is also working correctly. Perfect. Now, as you can see, the password will be starred, right? So let's see if there is a property to do that in text field. Now, there doesn't seem to be a property for the star part, right? So that is a problem. To fix that, what we can do is we can like I'll basically show you. I won't be doing that right now because it will be too complex for this project, but I'll show you. What we can do is this is the text field input. Whenever we type something, right, we do not display the exact text. Instead, we store the text in a variable. Let's say x equal to my text and y equal to the same text, but like if I have a text called ABC, I'll show 3 star. If I have ABCD, I will show 4 star. And here I will display y, but the actual value will be x. So I'm storing the value x and I'm displaying y here. So for example, let's say I have A, B, C, D, E, F, right? 4 characters. So what will be displayed is 6 stars. Sorry, these are 6 characters. So 6 stars will be displayed, but the actual text will be stored in this variable. So I'm having two variables. So if you are getting my point, I'll show you how to do that later. Like it will be too long of a video if I do that right now. Anyway, this is a button. This is a checkbox. So let's add two buttons. I hope you're not getting confused and you're with me. So I'll add two buttons. So for that, I'll obviously be adding a row and I'll set the width to pages width. And first spacing will be, let's say, 20. Then button, again another button. The text will be sign up, and this text will be sign in. Yeah, and the width of this button is parent dot width divided by 2 minus, let's say, 30. So the buttons are large but not very large, right? Now indent it properly and let's see if it works correctly, right? Yeah, we have to obviously customize the button and we have to center it in the parent. So instead of 30, I think it should be 10 because the spacing is 20. So let's see. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Right. Now we have to customize the button. I am thinking of doing that in the next video. Uh, I think this video is already too long, but yeah, let's first design this one, right? You can already customize the other one. So we can design this one very easily. We have to set the background and the content label, right? So what I'll do is instead of text to be sign up, I'll say content item. My autofill is not working right now. Yep. It will be, let's say, label and center in parent. So it's in the center of the button and text will be sign up, right? Obviously, we could have like customized this both of these button like in a separate file, but don't worry, like we don't have like this is also perfect, right? So we added that and we set the font to be, let's set the font to be bold to be true. So it's bold in text. I went font dot bold. Come on, true. And yeah, that's it. And the background to be yellow. So I'll say background rectangle, anchors dot fill parent, parent, and the color of the background to be golden. So I can directly say golden, and let's see if it works correctly. And we'll copy the exact same thing for this one. Color expected invalid property. Okay, there is no golden color. Gold, I think gold. Yeah, my bad. Or we could have just copied the hex code. But okay, I think there is some issue like with the width of this like rectangle. I think okay, I did not give the height. Okay, my bad, my bad. Let's give it a height of let's say 40, and now let's see. Yeah, perfect. It's not in the center, so Why is that?